Hello, the purpose of this video is to show you how we typically walk through one of our Read Naturally lessons. So first off, you're going to open up your Seesaw lesson for the day. And while some of us are doing our cold reads, you will be doing either writing your prediction or you will be doing your cold read with your teacher. So to do your prediction, you're going to click the text link over here, the big T, and you're going to click on that. It's going to open a box here for you. Move it to where you want, and you can start typing either I predict or I think this text will be about. And you can size it to however you want it to fit in here. You can also make it a fun color by selecting from the color tools over here. Make it kind of fun. So while you are working on that, and as the teacher is going around, I'll be doing the cold reads. I'll have you read for 1 minute to see how far you can get. And when we get your cold score, you will write it over here in this cold read section here. So again, you could pick whatever color. Let's pretend we got 75 on this cold read. And we write it in there. Our next step is we will go to our story and we're going to listen to the story being read aloud. So we're going to click our audio button here and it plays the story
Helen
for us.
Keller. Read along quietly while the story is read.
So we follow along while the story is read aloud to us. And the first read, we're just going to listen to it, and we're going to be looking for words that are difficult for us to either sound out or to read, or words that we don't know what they mean. So when that is finished, for our next read, we're going to get our highlighter tool, and we're going to highlight words that either were difficult for us to read on our own, or words that we don't know what they mean. So if conversations was a word that was difficult for you to read during your cold read, we could highlight that one. Or if I were to say, what does the word realized mean? And that's something you couldn't explain, that might be a word that you highlight if you're not sure what that means. So our next step would be to look this person, Helen Keller, up on our iPads or our computers. So we would search her name and we could learn a little bit more about her. I have a picture here for you, but we would look up more pictures of her. We could look up things like when she lived or when she died. We could look up her family or if she had any siblings, whatever we wanted or whatever the story was about for that day. Next, we go to our practice reading with our partner. So we'll go ahead and switch pages. And at this point, actually, before we do our practice reading with our partner, we'll walk through it together. So we'll read it line by line and we'll talk about each line and what the different words mean. We'll talk about what it might be like to be this person. What would it be like if you were blind and deaf? What would that feel like? We'll talk about any words we don't know, and we'll go over what they mean. And we'll practice those words that are difficult for us to read. Okay? Then we will get to our partner reading. So you and your partner will read through each line, one line at a time. So you'll switch off. So maybe Johnny will read sentence number 1 and Billy would read the next sentence. And then Johnny would read the next sentence, Billy would read the next one. And you guys will be paying attention to your punctuation pauses. That is, whenever there is a punctuation, like a period, you need to stop and your partner will take over. If there's just a comma, you just take a little pause. And that's just working on our reading fluency so that we read like we speak. Okay, once we have done all of our practice readings, we have gone through the story, we've switched turns so that then Billy reads the first sentence and Johnny reads the next one. So you've had practice reading all of the different sentences at least 2 times. Then it's going to be time for our hot read. So we've had lots of practice with the story. We are confident we know how to read all the words, and it is go time. So while I will be doing hot reads with you to see how many more awesome words you can read, you are going to record yourself reading the passage so your parents can hear how fantastic you can now read this story. So I will listen to you read, and then you'll record your hot read score. So now let's say on your hot read score, we're going to do in red because you're red hot. And now you have read 102 words on this passage. Excellent. So your fluency has gone up fantastically. While I am doing hot reads with some students, the rest of you, while you're recording your passage, and if we're waiting, you can start also working on your comprehension questions on slide 3. So you're going to look at each question. You're going to look back into the story to find the answer if you don't remember it off the top of your head, or if you're not quite sure. Look back in the story and find the answer. Do not guess. Okay? This is something that we will be doing all the way through the year on all of our stories, and something you should be doing in all of your subjects. Looking for answers within the text. When that's all done, we're going to move on to our summary. And here you will write 4 to 5 sentences, just briefly telling me what you learned in the story. Then you will record yourself reading the story, your summary. Okay? And once we're all done with all of that, you're going to click the link that is in your Seesaw that takes you to your Read Naturally graphs. You will graph your cold read and your hot read, and you'll see your red and blue chart to see how much you grew in your fluency. And that way, when I go to look at it and show your parents, I could see how awesome you did just on that chart. And it's just a great record, so we can all see all the fabulous progress that you have been making.